It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption, because, you know, they pass through too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote, and they want you cut.
We're hoping to achieve that, Bill. We've had 5 votes on it already. We will, if we can, we'll figure out a way to get yet another vote on the Save America Act, but I don't expect the Democrats to change their view. The issue here is all 47 Democrats, all 5 times we're voting on the Save America Act on the floor of the United States Senate have voted no. This is an issue about going after Democrats, making this an issue in the fall campaigns, and holding them accountable for being on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue with the American people. But we will try and set up a way to get more votes on that, to put them on the record again. But the fact of the matter is, you have block opposition from Democrats in the United States Senate when it comes to this issue. And that's why it's so important that we elect more Republicans to the Senate in November.
All right, that wasn't a yes, so I'll take it for what it is for now.
To go home on recess, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to pay a portion of the national debt on the salaries they're making for going home and not coming back till September. Look, this is for the survival of this country and for the integrity of this country. Already having trouble getting people excited to vote. This isn't helping at all.
To stand up and fight to keep it. I didn't come to Washington to just sit here and listen to people debate. I came to Washington to get things done. I came to Washington to make a difference. And I need my colleagues to join me in being committed to pushing through and getting a vote and taking an action on securing our elections. The people in our states, the people we serve, our bosses back home want this. They are demanding that we get this done. So let's get this done and save America. I yield back.
You know, I don't know, John. I mean, I honestly don't know. Everybody, I don't know what's in people's heads and what's in people's hearts. Here's what I do know. If we do reconciliation, we don't need any Democratic votes. We do have to get the permission of the parliamentarian.
Yep.
But there's a way to craft a voter integrity bill, the so-called SAVE Act, that I believe can pass muster with the parliamentarian. But we don't know unless we try. Now, Senator Thune, to his credit, is going to bring that to a vote on the floor. We're going to have a chance to do what we call get on the bill. I'm obviously going to vote yes. I think all Democrats will vote no. I don't know how many Republicans will vote no, but probably some will.
All right. Well, in the meantime, we will all stay dazed and confused about what's going on in the Senate.
Hey, everybody. So they're trying to mess with your ability to vote, just to break it all down. You've got the Supreme Court. They just sealed the deal with this case that just came up recently, the Calais decision, which basically took the power out of the Voting Rights Act, which was designed to protect your right to vote. So you got the Supreme Court doing its thing. Then this president is trying to push this SAVE Act, which basically would require that for people to register to vote, you're going to have proof of who you are through a passport, which a lot of Americans don't have, or a birth certificate. Same point, obstacles to make it difficult for you to register to vote.
About why they were filibustering voter ID, not just vote in Ditch Town.
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you. Senator Lee is 100% correct. This is why he has supported major changes to the Senate filibuster, essentially requiring U.S. senators to hold the floor if they want to filibuster legislation, because what happens is they just withhold their vote on common sense legislation like requiring voter ID in our elections. Simple stuff that everybody agrees on, they withhold their votes and then they just go home. And this is disrespectful to the people of our country. It is overwhelming that the American people want voter ID in our elections, and that they also want to make sure that people who are voting are American citizens. It's not even close, except if you're an elected Democrat, because once again, we are seeing that the Democrat Party, the elected elites, they want to protect their power as opposed to securing the elections of the American people.
Now, as we say, what they didn't do was almost just as important. They did not pass the Save America Act. That's something that a lot of conservatives said we have to get passed before the August recess. In fact, they are going on recess here. They're going to have these brief pro forma sessions over the next 5 weeks. In fact, the next legislative session in the Senate is going to be September 15th. They didn't have the votes to pass a budget resolution that would allow them to deal with some election integrity issues. And they also didn't pass a college sports bill. There was some thought that they might be able to do some sort of a test vote on that. President Trump put out a tweet on Truth Social last night saying that he was very concerned about trying to get this done, wanted them to stay in session in August to say, hey, this is important, stay in session, get it done. There was some internecine fighting between Republicans about passing that, where some said that the bill did not go far enough to ban men from playing women's sports. And President Trump, in his Truth Social post, said, quote, anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. Now, Ted Cruz, who's the main sponsor of that bill, says that that bill is in the queue and it is set to have some sort of a vote in September. But it's not on the official docket. What is, though, and they will have a vote on this in mid-September, a test vote on cryptocurrency. Regulating cryptocurrency. That's something that they tried to get in here as well. They didn't quite make it, but they will have that test vote in mid-September. Guys?
Folks, pull up a chair and listen close, because what is happening in our great nation right now is something truly special. It is the story of a president who refuses to give up on the everyday people who built this land. This is a story about real strength, deep love for America, and a leader who stands in the gap for every single one of us. Right now, in this very moment, something powerful is happening in Washington, D.C. The air on Capitol Hill is heavy as the clock ticks down toward the Senate's planned 5-week August vacation. Lawmakers are already packing their bags, eager to leave behind the heat of the summer and the tough work that needs to be done. But President Donald Trump, our 45th and 47th president, refuses to let them walk away. Sitting in the Oval Office, looking out over the nation he loves so dearly, President Trump has drawn a firm, non-negotiable line in the sand. He sees what is at stake. He knows that the bedrock of our great republic is a free, fair, and honest election where every legal vote is protected. That is why, at this very hour, President Trump is sending a clear and uncompromising message straight to Capitol Hill. Nobody goes on vacation until the Save America Act is passed into law. The Save America Act is simple common sense. It is the kind of rule every hardworking family in our country understands without needing a fancy degree or a room full of lawyers. It simply says that every single voter must show proof of American citizenship, like a birth certificate or a passport, when they register, and present a valid photo ID when they cast their ballot. It cleans up voter rolls and ensures that only real American citizens decide the future of our nation. To a mother working 2 jobs in Ohio or a factory worker in Michigan, this is pure fairness. They just want to know that when they stand in line on election day, their voice counts and cannot be watered down by anyone else. Yet, as President Trump pushes for this vital protection, establishment politicians like Senate Leader John Thune are hesitating, dragging their feet when America needs a strong backbone. At the same time, radical left politicians like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are doing everything they can to block common sense election security. But President Trump is not backing down. He never has, and he never will. Standing tall as the ultimate champion for the forgotten men and women of America, President Trump is taking the fight directly to Washington. He is making it crystal clear through direct messages and his powerful Truth Social posts that if the establishment tries to run away from their duty, he is prepared to push with everything he has, even calling to terminate the filibuster to get this essential job done. President Trump's heart burns with love for this country and its everyday citizens. He feels the quiet hope of the veteran flying his flag on the front porch and the young couple building their first home. He knows that without secure elections, everything these families work so hard for is put at risk. Right now, in these critical hours, President Trump is holding Washington accountable, proving once again that he will stand in the gap and fight with every ounce of his strength to protect the sacred vote of the American people. As the minutes tick away right now, the tension inside the hallways of Capitol Hill is rising by the second. Senators who had their suitcases packed and flight tickets ready are suddenly standing still. Staring at their phone screens in disbelief, President Trump's words have sent a thunderclap straight through Washington. The old way of doing things, where politicians quietly slip out the back door and head home for 5 weeks while big problems are left unsolved, has been completely shattered by one man who refuses to back down. Inside the private offices of Congress, establishment leaders like John Thune are feeling the heat like never before. They are used to playing it safe, making excuses, and waiting for things to blow over. But President Trump does not play those political games. He sees right through the hesitation and the weak leadership. He knows that when you are fighting for the very heart of American democracy, you do not compromise with weakness. At the same time, radical left politicians like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are scrambling. They know President Trump means exactly what he says. When Trump warns that he is ready to demand the termination of the filibuster to get the Save America Act passed, they realize their old political tricks won't work anymore. But this struggle isn't just happening inside the quiet rooms of DC right now. In this very hour, thousands of miles away in the heartland of America, real people are hanging on every single word. Picture a small diner in a quiet town in Pennsylvania or Ohio. A young mother who works 2 jobs to care for her children stops for a brief moment to wipe down a counter. She looks up at the news playing on the corner television screen. She sees President Trump standing firm, holding the line, and demanding that Congress stay and do its job to secure our elections. A warm feeling of hope fills her heart because she understands what this fight is really about. On Election Day, she wakes up early, stands in line with her kids, proudly presents her legal photo ID, and casts her ballot. She does everything the right way because she loves her country. To her, the idea that someone could vote without showing solid proof of American citizenship makes no sense at all. It feels like her hard work and her voice are being watered down. But as she listens to President Trump's unwavering message, a deep sense of comfort washes over her. She turns to a neighbor at the counter and whispers, "Finally, someone is standing up for us." That is the true beauty of President Trump's leadership. While Washington politicians worry about their vacation plans, Trump is thinking about that mother, the factory worker in Michigan, and every hard-working family across this land. Right now, in these critical moments, President Trump is standing tall as an unbreakable shield, reminding Congress that they work for the American people and he will never let them forget it. As the evening sun begins to set across the nation, the echoes of President Trump's bold stand in Washington are reaching every corner of our great country. Right now, in these very hours, kitchen tables and neighborhood porches have become the center of a beautiful, quiet awakening. Regular, everyday folks are looking at their televisions and reading their phones, and for the first time in what feels like a long while, they are smiling with genuine hope. They know that while the politicians in D.C. are desperate to escape for a long summer break, their 47th president is keeping watch, holding the line to protect their most sacred right. Take my neighbor just down the road, a proud Vietnam veteran who wakes up before dawn every single morning to raise the American flag in his front yard. He called me up just a little while ago. His voice was thick with emotion, cracking just a bit as he spoke. "Trump's the only one who gets it," he told me, wiping a tear from his weathered face. "He's not letting them steal another one. He's fighting for us." That brave veteran risked his life for the freedoms we hold dear, and seeing President Trump fight with that same fearless spirit to protect the ballot box gives him a deep, profound peace. It is a peace of knowing that a true commander is at the helm. The same feeling is rushing through the hearts of the men and women who keep America moving. Think about the hardworking truck drivers rolling down the long highways in Texas right now, or the dedicated farmers in Iowa finishing up a long day in the fields, or the devoted teachers in Florida preparing their classrooms. They have watched for years as smooth-talking politicians promised them the moon, only to turn their backs the moment they got to Washington. But they know Donald Trump is different. They remember when he came down that golden escalator years ago, putting America first, bringing factories back to life, and standing tall against the globalists. He delivered for them as our 45th president, and now he is fighting for them harder than ever before. To these hardworking families, the Save America Act is not just some piece of Washington paperwork. It is their shield. It is the simple, honest promise that their hard-earned vote will never be canceled out by someone who is not even a citizen of this country. When they hear that President Trump is refusing to let Senator John Thune and the rest of the establishment sneak out of town, they feel a surge of pride. They know that President Trump is willing to push every button, even demanding an end to the old filibuster rules, because he answers only to the American people. The fire in President Trump's heart is spreading to millions tonight. In towns big and small, people are standing just a little bit taller. They are going to sleep tonight, knowing that they finally have a champion who loves this country just as much as they do someone who will scorch the earth before he lets anyone take their voice away. As night falls deeper across the country, the pressure coming from the Oval Office is not fading. It is growing stronger by the minute. President Trump knows that every second counts when the future of our republic is on the line. To him, securing our elections is not just another item on a long political to-do list. It is an urgent national emergency. That is why in these very hours, he is keeping the heat turned all the way up on Capitol Hill. He is putting other routine business on hold because he knows that nothing matters more than making sure every legal American vote is safe and secure. In Washington, establishment politicians like Senate Leader John Thune thought they could quietly wait out the clock until everyone went home for August. They hoped the public would look away, but President Trump made sure there was no place for them to hide. He laid down his final demand in plain, clear language that every patriot understands. Either stay in town and pass the Save America Act right now, or get serious about ending the filibuster, so the good people who want honest elections can get the job done with a simple majority. President Trump isn't playing by the old swamp rules anymore. He is showing bold, fearless leadership by putting election integrity right where it belongs, at the very top of the list. Over at a small diner in the heartland, a young couple sits together holding hands after a long day of work. They just bought their very first home, a dream they achieved thanks to the strong economy President Trump built for working. Families, as they look at the news updates on their phones showing President Trump's latest strong message to the Senate, the wife looks at her husband with deep emotion in her eyes. If we don't cure these elections, she says softly, what is the point of all this hard work? Trump is fighting for our kids' future. Her words capture what millions of Americans are feeling right now in their hearts. Hardworking citizens don't ask for much. They wake up early, pay their taxes, teach their children right from wrong, and love their country with all they have. All they ask in return is that their vote, their voice in this democracy, is respected and protected. They want a simple, common sense system. One person, one vote. Strictly for American citizens. Verified with a valid photo ID. President Trump hears those families, loud and clear in his heart. That is why he is standing like an unshakable wall against Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and anyone else who tries to block election security. He is standing up for the forgotten men and women who built this country. Right now, as the hours tick away, President Trump's message is still ringing loudly in the ears of every lawmaker. America's future cannot wait. As the sun rises across our beautiful country this Saturday morning, the full picture of President Trump's bold stand is becoming crystal clear to millions of Americans. We now know that in the pre-dawn hours, the Senate slipped out the door and officially went into their August recess without passing the full Save America Act. They packed their bags and headed home, thinking they could just walk away from the vital task of requiring proof of citizenship to vote. But if those establishment politicians think they have escaped, they are completely mistaken. President Donald Trump did not back down for a single second, even as those lawmakers rushed for the exits. The intense pressure he applied is still ringing loudly in their ears. He held the line like a true commander, forcing them to agree to take up this critical fight once again when they reconvene in September. That is what you call pure, relentless leadership. He showed Washington that the American people will simply not be ignored and that the security of our elections is totally non-negotiable. You see, this fight was never just about a single weekend in Washington. It is about restoring deep, lasting trust in the very soul of our great nation. It is about making absolutely sure that our children and our grandchildren inherit a country where elections are honest, fair, and respected by everyone. President Trump's America First values shine brightly through every single action he takes. Secure borders, secure elections, and a secure, prosperous future for every hardworking family who calls this land home. He is not asking for permission from the Washington swamp. He is leading from the front, exactly the way a real president should. By taking this fearless stand over these last few hours, President Trump has already delivered a massive victory for our country. He woke up the heartland, forced the entire nation to pay attention, and put election integrity right where it belongs, at the absolute top of the list. He doesn't take no for an answer when America is on the line. And that is a massive win for all of us who believe in the Constitution. I'll be honest with you, folks, I've got tears in my eyes just thinking about it today. This is the America I grew up believing in. This is the country where leaders put the people first, where common sense wins out over the elites who think they know better. President Trump is showing all of us what true courage looks like. He is taking the hard stand so our kids can vote in elections they can trust. He is defending our republic with every single ounce of his strength. And for that, every true American owes him a deep debt of gratitude. So keep the faith, my friends. Keep praying, keep standing strong, and keep calling those officers to let them know we stand united with Trump. The Save America Act is coming because our 47th president will never, ever rest until it is law. God bless President Donald Trump. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. We are just getting started, and with President Trump at the helm, our best days are truly still ahead. Thank you so much for pulling up a chair and sharing this story with me today, folks. If you feel that same fire in your belly for a great country and believe in secure, honest elections, please hit that like button. It really helps get this message out to other patriots across the nation. I would also love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below and let me know where you're watching from and what having a strong leader fighting for your family means to you. And if you want to keep hearing these heartfelt stories about the hard-working Americans who make this country the greatest on God's green earth, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are in this together, folks. Stay strong, keep the faith, and I'll see you in the next one.